What if I told you BMW built an engine so good that it erased the reputation of the one before it? Not because the older engine was bad, not because it didn't make power, but because it exposed something BMW had quietly been struggling with for years: reliability, heat, long-term durability. For over a decade, BMW's turbocharged inline-six engines have defined modern performance. First came the legend, then came the correction, and finally came the engine that many enthusiasts say BMW should have built from the beginning. This is the story of the BMW N55 versus the BMW B58. And the question that still divides the community: did BMW finally get it right? To understand the N55, you have to understand what came before it. The twin-turbo BMW N54 was revolutionary when it launched in 2006. It made easy power. It responded insanely well to tuning, and it created a cult following overnight. But it also developed a reputation: high-pressure fuel pump failures, carbon buildup, turbo wastegate rattle, injector problems. It made headlines for power, but it quietly damaged trust. So BMW had to respond. Enter 2009, BMW releases the N55. On paper, it looks smarter. Instead of twin turbos, BMW switched to a single twin-scroll turbocharger. Fewer parts, less complexity, better throttle response. They added Valvetronic, improved direct injection, reworked internals. The goal: simplify, refine, restore confidence. The N55 made around 300 horsepower in most trims, up to 320 in performance applications, and it delivered torque earlier and smoother than the N54. Throttle response improved, turbo lag decreased, fuel efficiency increased, and reliability better, but not bulletproof. Here's the truth enthusiasts know: the N55 was a good engine, but it wasn't a dominant one. Open-deck aluminum block, cast internals in most versions, heat management that was acceptable, not exceptional. Push it hard, and limits started showing. High intake temps under sustained boost, charge pipe failures, water pump issues, oil filter housing gasket leaks, valve cover gasket leaks. Nothing catastrophic on stock power, but once tuned, the ceiling wasn't very high. Stage 1, fine. Stage 2, manageable. Beyond that, risk increases fast. And that's where BMW engineers were watching carefully, because the turbo era was only getting more demanding. By the early 2000s, the performance world had shifted. Customers wanted more torque, more tuning headroom, better reliability, stronger internals from factory, and emissions regulations were tightening globally. BMW needed more than refinement. They needed a redesign, not a revision, a reset. In 2015, BMW launches the B58. And this wasn't just an evolution, it was a statement. The B58 introduced a closed-deck block, forged crankshaft, integrated water-to-air intercooler inside the intake manifold, stronger pistons, improved cooling circuits, revised oiling system. Everything about it screamed durability. Stock power jumped to around 335 horsepower initially. Later, variants climbed to 382 horsepower. And in applications like the Toyota Supra, even higher potential unlocked easily. But numbers don't tell the full story. The B58 didn't just make power, it handled it. This is where things get interesting. The N55 could handle moderate tuning, but the B58, it thrives on it. Stage 1. B58 builds routinely push into the 400s. Stage 2. Setups approach 450 to 480 horsepower with supporting mods. Upgraded turbo setups? 600 plus horsepower is common. On stock block, some builds have touched 700 to 800 horsepower with proper fueling and cooling. and daily driven. That's the difference. The B58 wasn't just strong. It was engineered for boost, where the N55 felt like it tolerated tuning. The B58 feels like it expects it. Let's be objective, no engine is perfect. But statistically, community feedback shows the B58 has far fewer systemic design flaws than the N54, and noticeably better long-term durability than the N55. Common B58 issues: PCV diaphragm failures, occasional coolant loss from plastic fittings, oil filter housing leaks, though less frequent. But widespread catastrophic failure patterns? Rare? High-mileage B58s crossing 100,000 miles under tuned conditions are becoming normal. That wasn't common language in early N55's communities. And this matters, because modern BMW buyers are not just weekend racers. They daily drive these cars. But power and reliability aren't everything. There's a feel difference. The N55 has a slightly more mechanical, traditional turbo response. It feels lighter, less insulated. The B58 feels refined, controlled, linear. Torque comes on smoother. Power delivery feels engineered, not aggressive. Some drivers love that. Others miss a bit of edge. This is subtle, but real. The B58 feels like BMW matured. The N55 feels like BMW transitioning. Ownership tells another story. N55 maintenance, more frequent gasket replacements. Cooling system attention, less tolerance for sustained heavy boost. B58 ownership, generally lower long-term surprise repairs, better thermal management, stronger internals reducing stress under tune. Fuel economy also improved slightly with the B58, thanks to better combustion efficiency and thermal design, and that matters in real-world ownership. The N54 created excitement. The N55 created stability. The B58 created confidence. Confidence that you could tune it, drive it daily, track it occasionally, and not constantly worry. That psychological shift changed BMW's reputation in the turbo era, and that's why it powers 340i, 440i, 540i, M240i, Z4M40i, Toyota Supra. BMW didn't just fix mistakes, they built a foundation. If right means stronger block, better cooling, higher power ceiling, improved reliability, greater tuning margin, then yes. The B58 is objectively superior, but that doesn't mean the N55 failed. The N55 was necessary. It was BMW learning. Learning how to move from naturally aspirated heritage into the turbocharged future. Without the N55, the B58 wouldn't exist. This comparison isn't just about engines, it's about evolution. The N55 represents a manufacturer adapting. The B58 represents a manufacturer mastering. And for enthusiasts, that evolution matters, because it shows BMW listened. They saw the tuning community. They saw reliability concerns. They saw global emissions pressure. And they responded with engineering, not marketing. If you want, lower entry cost, solid performance, moderate tuning potential, and slightly more raw feel, the N55 still makes sense. If you want, high tuning ceiling, stronger internals, better long-term durability, modern refinement, the B58 is the smarter bet. And by the way, if you're enjoying videos like this, you can support us by joining the channel membership. It's less than the price of a cup of coffee. You get early access to members-only exclusive videos and access to a private community of real engine enthusiasts, totally optional, but genuinely appreciated. And if you love stories about engineering evolution, performance philosophy, and the machines that shape car culture, subscribe to Past Pistons. Because here, we don't just compare engines, we keep their stories alive, one rev at a time.